I'm just going to talk through sort of like what I see and the layout that I go through. So the main bit here is all my classes. So it's a mixture of like committees, the whole school class, and like my subjects. And in these little like white parts here, that's usually where there's like tasks. So if there's something that needs to be done quite soon, that's usually in like these sort of places. There's nothing right now I have to do, but usually that's where I'd find it. And so if there's something urgent that needs to be done, I usually just click there and that's where that task will be. And then for finding out everything I need to do, this is the to-do list section. So when you're assigned certain things, all the work appears here. This is not a good example because I've got no work right now right here for today. But this is where all your assignments will be. So you usually click on it and you can do your assignment straight away. And then mark it's done. Missing is where all the things, again, this is not a good example because there's nothing missing, but this is where my work appears if I haven't done it or if the due date's passed and I still haven't pressed hand in. So I always check that the missing work is empty, so nothing's late. And then the done section is where all the things you've completed will be. So things with no due date are here. So these are things that you do need to hand in, but there's not a specific date. So they're all there. As you see, one of them's not handed in, but that's a mark. So like sort of like things your teachers will return to you could be in this section as well. And then things you've done early. So things that don't need to be handed in yet, but they've already been handed in by you will be here. So you can check, like if a notification comes through to say, have you done this? You can just double check on here whether you've done it. And then this week and last week is obviously just the tasks you've handed in on whatever date. But something I've seen is that teachers don't always put their tasks on the to-do list, like as an assignment. So I always make sure to go and double check on the class stream. So you click on your classroom and you can sort of just double check that there's been no other assignments made that's like not under the assignments title. So teachers sometimes can quickly, oh, it's not going off, like quickly put a quick note up about something like remember meeting, but it won't give you a notification. So I just always double check on the stream if anything's been put up recently, just to make sure I get everything done. And let's see what else we can look at. Then the calendar as well. So this is where you can click on, and some meets are usually scheduled here. So as you can see, that's also the work I've got to do when it needs to be done. So that's mine this week. And then meets come up here as well if there's been any assigned to the calendar. So this is also like a quicker way that I use of just to check that I've got all my work done for this week or to see what I've still got to do. And yeah, another tip is I usually write down a to-do list myself on like a piece of paper and just tick it off, just to make sure if like teachers say anything on a meet or if they're posted somewhere else, like email to you, that you just don't forget it's there, because it's really easy to forget something to do and it could be important.
So the first week or so, we were trying really as a city to see if we could monitor attendance and engagement simply using the login. So when people logged into Classroom, the system would kind of check it off, but it doesn't do it in real time. And the delay was too much, and some other sort of technical issues meant that that wasn't working. So we've got a form that we're asking students to fill in just every morning, very quick form, just to make sure that we have an accurate record of everyone that's fitting well that day, and we can check up on everyone's well-being, and we know everyone's working and safe and okay. I'll leave that. I think John's ready. Maybe. Yep. Okay, John.
Okay, so I noticed Mr. Johnson told me that some folk were having a bit of trouble with finding the form for signing in the morning. To be honest, I was finding it a bit hard as well at first, but what I've seemed to do to keep on top of that is I'll go into my emails every single morning and check it coming in there. And even though you can search up in the top in the Gmail attendance, you can click on one of the links along here. Anyway, so here's the link. I just seem to click on it every single day, and it's easy enough to run through. I can't access it at this time.
Yeah.
Another way. Oh.
So we got a hand up there, John.
Day. You can see there, he's been posting it up.
So I send out a reminder every day, and it's the same link, so that people don't get confused. We do close it in afternoons so that the office can transfer the attendance we have into our actual attendance system, because there's it's called CMIS. It's a management information system that the council uses to track attendance and trends, and that's what all the data that you'll maybe see coming from the government when they say X number of pupils are off or X number of people are self-isolating or whatever, they take the data from there. So we need to report on a specific system. So we close it in the afternoon and we transfer all the data across, but it is actually the same link, and we just open and close it each day while we're doing the other tasks.
Any easier, what you can even do is copy that link and just have it, say on your desktop on your computer. I've got little sticky notes where I put stuff up. You could copy a link there and then just click on that every morning. Depends what you use.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Just so that we know that it's not spurious entries into the attendance system, so we can actually verify that it's a person and not someone just registering, him and all of his friends because he's the only one awake, or they're taking it in turns or something.
I've seen another question about getting docs and slides handed in. Basically, this is what you do. Say I was on a higher music class. I've just clicked onto that through Google Classroom, and I've went and found whatever task it is that needs to be done. If you've done something on Google Docs, they usually post something up here. I'll just click on that. This is what I did earlier today. I had to fill in all of this. And then at the top right, there should be a little turn in button. You can see there. You'll click on that. Oh, down a load. And then that's you handed in your work for that task. Another way of doing it is by, it's taking its time, clicking add or create. If you link it through this, you can go to your Google Drive, and this is where all of your files and stuff will be stored. You can have a look here. I'll click on something random here. My timetable for the week. There we go, just double clicked on that. Now it's up on there. I can click hand in, and there's the docs gone through. It's the exact same process with slides and PDFs and things like that. Let's see what else we've got.
Ooh. Do you have some assignments due in your...
Yeah, I was just going to show that. It's probably not the best example for the missing, but that's what it looks like if they're missing. These are just little silly ones that aren't necessarily schoolwork. This is my brass stuff, which is out with school, that's been posted up here. And that's just how they run it, and I never really click them to hand them in. You can see it says missing up there, and that means you've basically done it late. Click mark as done. Handed in late. You'll get a little notification there that it's handed in late, and that's it all done now. There's not really much else. It's Beth covered the majority of it.
Most documents that are shared should be printable. So you'd open it within Google Classroom, you'd open your doc, and then you can use the file and print. So you can see that's what John's up to just now. He's opened that document, he's went to file, he's went to print, and the options to print will be up there. You can download it as well, so you could download it onto a USB stick if the computer you're working on wasn't connected to a printer. So, for example, if you had a school Chromebook and you hadn't set up to be connected, or a laptop that wasn't connected to your printer, you could put it in your USB stick and you could take it to whichever computer you use for printing and print it from there. So that's an option as well.
When you get through an email, usually it's when they first set the task, you'll get through an email. And then you also get an email either on the day it's due or the day before it's due as a reminder. And you also get an email if your teacher is handing you back work or if you're getting marks or something. So it's just a notification when it's first handed out, a day before it's due, and then if anything's been given back. That's usually all.
Okay.
Just a quick question about, tips for organization, tips for keeping yourself organized. Do you do just your to-do list in the order they're due in, or do you have like certain times that you do each subject, or how do you organize yourself?
Well, I have a big to-do list of like everything I do, but obviously that all muddled up just totally complicates me. So I have like 3 mini ones for each subject and have the day it's due sort of next to it. But I also like at the start of the week or like a Sunday night, I'll plan out any tasks. I haven't seen what John's got. I sort of plan out any tasks I've got to do and like when my meets are. So, and just like have a little schedule for each day, just so I make sure I've not missed anything. Basically like what John's got a wee bit, but just like what day I'm going to do what work and fit it around my meet, just so I'm not like cramming everything in, or I've said I'm going to do a task when there's a meet and then it all falls out of place. So basically just like a little schedule to make sure everything's there.
So you do that on a Sunday night for your week. You kind of plan it out certain times for certain things, and then you just go for it.
Yeah, and then if anything else is given during the week that is like due for like the day after, or you don't have a lot of time, I just keep my night times like sort of free. So then if there's anything given like short notice, I've got that time just in case there's anything I need to do.
John, I saw you nodding there. Yeah. I think it's a very similar system.
No, what I seem to do is I'll get up my assignments, figure out what I've got to do for that week, and then I'll prioritize them, like which ones are most important. And then after I've finished all the important ones, I can maybe do like extra little things, like maybe revising a certain topic, maybe a little bit more because I didn't understand it, or go and playing a musical instrument to get more practice on that, or even doing past papers when your children come to do that and get a bit more practice in.
Okay, so if you've got you've built an extra time for study where you'll be doing extra bits when you're not, so you'll do all your tasks, but then you'll also do stuff that isn't necessarily assigned to you. You do more than just tasks. You'll do some revision and go back to work if you need to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not necessary, but it's useful to do, and it'll help you out in the long run.
Yeah, I think if you leave a space like a certain time in the day and just leave it like free, obviously you don't know on certain days what you're going to need to do or have to do. So having that time, you can just revise like whatever you're struggling with, or just anything sort of last minute, I think.
Yeah, and this strategy has really served both Ben and John really well. They between them have quite a lot of kind of A grades, quite a lot of good scores there. What should be happening is they should be assigning work and having their meets during their usual class time. So it should be based on your student's timetable. They will have put up at the start, and they might put up at the start of each week a wee thing about which day they might have their meet and which work, when they can expect work up and work back. So that kind of information should be going out, and that should be kind of updated as you go along. The other instruction that was given to staff, and this was based on our experience last time round, was students were only getting through about maybe half or 2/3 as much work in a day as they would do if they're at school getting pushed on by the teacher. It's very difficult for a 14-year-old to self-motivate for 6 hours, get their head down and study without, that interaction from their peers, that help from their teachers, and the resources and all the things that go into being a school. So they've been asked only to schedule around about half to 2/3 of the work that they would schedule in school.
Okay.
And I know there's the odd class that have shared teachers, where that might mean that what they've decided is one of the teachers is stepping back and the other one's doing what they kind of usually would. The time is reduced because the other teachers kind of stepping back.
Okay.
Okay. Beth, John, is that kind of what you're actually seeing? Because that's what should be happening.
Yeah.
But Beth and John, is that
all my meets are when I'm meant to have a class. Like, I don't have a meet for every single time I'm meant to have a class, but the meets that I do have are during class time. But the tasks are usually given either during when we're meant to have a class or like the start of the day, and then it's meant to be done during the time you're meant to have the class. Sometimes there is an odd meet that's just put anywhere, but they should be sending out an email for it, but sometimes it can just be odd. So I think just checking it a lot just saves anything happening.
Thank you so much, Beth. Thank you so much, John. It's really excellent, better than I could have done by a long way. So thank you very much.